Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, June 13th, 2025. Israel attacking Iran. And we're going to talk to you about how smart money saw this coming here. And we talked about this yesterday. We warned about this yesterday to take volatility seriously and take the geopolitical risk seriously. So that was a good call that aged well so far. But let's get into it here. First, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. It helps the channel out very much. Tells YouTube that this channel is better than the Furu channels that don't see these things coming. But anyways, also, by the way, come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Swing trading alerts analysis, live day trading, awesome deals going on until July 11th. 60% off first month of active trader, 30% off swing trades, and they are paying out like crazy right now. So great time to join. But nonetheless, let's get into it here. So today, a very interesting day. We talked about this yesterday. We said there'd probably be there was a good chance of a burst of volatility here, and that worked out. We picked up some volatility yesterday, and a good play on VIXI. We also said that it's probably not going to amount to a ton. Not to say that we couldn't pull back, but by the end of the day, we didn't think it would be that big of a deal. Now we are kind of fading a little bit here as it looks like Iran had a counter strike, and that happened right around here, I believe, around 2 o'clock. And so we are fading here, but basically just sitting off the lows of the day. That said, I wouldn't be shocked. And if you followed the video from earlier this morning, I said we probably would, actually, I tweeted about this. I'm not sure if I said that in that video, but I said trend chasers are going to get clipped pretty good today. And you can see right now we're actually, I still think 6K is a bit of a magnet, so I wouldn't shock me to see us inch back up towards that handle, but maybe close just below it. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now. That said, even if we don't and we puke out here, this market should be down 3%, right? And we're not. And so that's kind of what I was getting at yesterday is that, this is not, even with the signals that we had, VVIX, I noticed that on Monday. I mean, this is how smart money, you can tell these things here, gapping up, and then yesterday, kind of that, even looking at vol products like VIXI, bull flag on the hourly yesterday, while SPX had the same pattern, it's kind of had a float up pattern. There were lots of reasons that told us about that. We looked at oil as well. The oil market's new. This was starting to take off and take it seriously. I did not take it seriously on Tuesday because the high of the day was literally when that headline came out. However, the day after, it was like, okay, this is a real thing. Gold also melting up earlier this week, so that was also a bit of a tell. By the way, bond fund managers got to be sick to their stomach here. If ZB can't even be green, and it's down almost 1% right now, and that's with World War III headlines going on. So pretty amazing stuff here. And it is surprising to me how, I tweeted about this as well, but it's everybody always says oh, bull markets, everybody's a genius in a bull market. Bull market covers up the bad traders. It's in a bear market where you make the money. But I've never seen more Furu accounts that are absolutely clueless as how to navigate this type of tape here. But nonetheless here, let's get into the analysis. So we did hit that. We did hit our, everybody was watching it. We did kind of violate that rising wedge there on SPX. And, it's breaking below, but no real follow through right now, at least not yet. On ES, if you want to take a look at that, because it's a little bit different. It's kind of, it is breaking, but we'll see where we close. I mean, if we close up here, it could close back inside. But again, my point was with that again, if you look back to some of these patterns last year, I show them this every day, but it's good. I mean, that was the extent of your rising wedge break right before the election. All it did was get puts on board to rock them the other way. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen here, but I'm saying it definitely can. And right now, going into the weekend, I'll say this too. Do you think there's more left tail risk or right tail risk? All right, because the market's now aware of what's going on. And escalation can lead to de-escalation, right? So just some food for thought here. I'm not saying we're just going to gap and go Monday, but just some things to consider. And I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, you got to de-risk. You got to de-risk here." But none of those guys were calling for this to happen earlier this week, at least that I know of. But Anyway, right now, yeah, 5,900 or so is still a pretty good level here for SPX if we were to get down there Monday. And I mean, like, I think we could even pin. And we also have the Fed next week too. So remember that. Also, the old adage, "by the invasion," it's a reason there that is the case. So I would say as long as there's no like real escalation outside of the Middle East, it doesn't matter if they're firing rockets and stuff back and forth. As long as it's not other countries getting involved, I think the market can breathe a sigh of relief on Monday. But we got a short week next week. We got the FOMC on Wednesday, and then we have Juneteenth Thursday, OPEX Friday. So I'm guessing the back half of that week is just going to be like scalp city, or unless something crazy happens, it's just going to be premium burning on both sides, very hard. Now, again, like if this can't unpin us, then I can't imagine the Fed would. And we already know Powell's not cutting. So, that said, vol is sticking. It's sticking a little bit into the close, but again, that does set up a right tail for Monday. And I still think this market's pretty well pinned between 59 and 6,000 anyway, even into end of quarter. But we'll talk about that at another time. Qs here down 1.3. I talked about 532 being a cap intraday, and that was pretty much the high of the day. So we did back off of that. Qs finishing lower. Russell 2000 breaking back below 210. I'd like to see this recover, but I don't think it's going to at this point. So I'd like to see it close above 210. We did close last week. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't close below, or close above, but you don't want to see it really lose last week's breakup bar, is what I would say. Diamond here down 2%. This is mostly because of Visa, right? So Visa taking a big hit. Caterpillar down 2, and I think Goldman was down as well. So the Dow led to the downside today. SMH down 2.5. IGV very strong. So like it's not all losers, right? Palantir, Zscaler, anything cybersecurity is doing well right here, or at least holding up relatively. Even Microsoft was actually, I think, tried to go green. Yeah, tried to go green earlier. Tesla was randomly running earlier too. It's actually up 2.6. So nice for Tesla bulls there. Transport's obviously taking a hit here. Gas prices up. It tends to make sense. Still got that inverse head and shoulder look though. Rates today, again, up up on the day. It's like if you told somebody this like 6 years ago that this was going to happen, they'd be like, "Oh, TLT's up like 3%. It's down 1%." So that's the bond bulls can't get a break here. XHB down 3, VNQ down 1.5. So not closing the week above 90. Then we got XLF backing off, but nothing terrible really. Trend is still nicely up here, just rechecking that. Moving average KRE is at the lows of the day, so we'll watch this one. I don't want to see that go too much lower. I'm not going to make, I'm not going to get too pessimistic on it just yet. Broker dealers down 2%, but again, they're still just off all-time highs. Oil, this is also a nice trade. We got close out with swing trades on UGA, so that was nice. Had that one for a while too. I figured oil would hold up into the close today, and that's what it's doing. It's off the highs, but I figured it would hold up because, people are going to want to hold hedges, and a good way to hedge against this is oil and volatility. So we're holding that. But again, if nothing big escalates, this could drop to 68 easy on Monday. And that goes for oil stocks. And I'm surprised XLE is even green right now because the way this thing trades lately, it's like oil's up like 10% almost. Gas is up 5%. And XLE, it's like, oh, there's a routine day for XLE. Not even 2%. It's struggling with that 200 MA. So XLP up 2. So at least that got above the 200. That's good. And then OIH got above the 100. Went right into our 250 handle though. So nat gas here, up 3 1/3. That doesn't matter when it comes to World War III. It just doesn't. I see CJ down, or excuse me, up 22 cents, and the NM and NJ were flattish here. So nothing really going on in uranium. What else we got here? Dollar index, that was higher. Yeah, I mean, so it spiked the low. Oh, by the way, we had Michigan this morning too. It did come in off of Michigan, but yeah, it spiked the low. We talked about a divergent low, and so far that's started to play out. It hasn't really played out yet though. But holding on to that 98 handle, that could squeeze a little bit. Gold holding up. We knew that was going to hold up. It's very supportive. GLD at 300 until next Friday, and then I think it's probably still supportive. But silver here continuing to act well. You know, it's interesting though that you'd think these would be up a lot more. Platinum reversing, engulfing down 5%. And another thing too, Northrop Grumman, it's up 4%, but you can't even take out the local high. So again, like some of these things like LMT, you can't even take out this high right here. So again, it's like, look at things logically sometimes. Is the market really acting as if like this is a huge structural issue? I don't think so. Shouldn't LMT have gapped up to like above the 200 at least? I mean, you can look at Raytheon, yeah, but this is already a strong stock. So some of these, Halliburton up $1, like, come on, you know, look at it logically sometimes. And so, you know, sometimes it's that simple. So, I don't even know where we were. Copper up down 6 cents. So we don't need copper for war, obviously. Why would we need that? Then Bitcoin, you know, hanging in there. It did give back a lot of the gains from earlier this week, but it's holding up, you know. It's nothing really wrong with this pattern. Little toppy right now. Again, needs to do some more digestion here. Weekly is still fine. You get a nice tightening range after a big up move. And again, Bitcoin should be down a lot more than it is. It's actually nicely off the lows here. And it's been making higher lows versus the market intraday. So we'll see what happens here. Again, maybe they dump it out. We'll see. Overall, though, I don't think this is like the market should be down a lot more, and it's not, which is kind of a testament to what we've been saying here lately. But yeah, we got volatility, and we expected it. But is it going to continue? I don't really think so. At least not right now. But you never know. We got the Fed next week, and we're going into the weekend. So, anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all next week.